Welcome back, Coinology. When we talk about coins that have fascinated collectors and investors alike, few pieces stir the imagination quite like the 1-cent coin, particularly the 1992 mint edition. At first glance, it appears ordinary, humble, even the kind of coin one might find in a pocket, a jar, or even under the couch cushions. Its small size, modest weight, and coppery sheen make it seem like just another token of daily life, a small denomination of money that has been passed from hand to hand countless times. But for those who understand numismatics, the study and collection of coins, the 1992 1-cent coin is far more than its surface appearance. It is a window into history, artistry, and sometimes staggering value. To understand the significance of the 1992 1-cent coin, one must first consider its physical attributes, which, although simple, are meticulously designed. Weighing precisely 2.5 grams, this coin is made primarily of copper-plated zinc, a composition that was standardized by the United States Mint to ensure durability while maintaining that characteristic warm metallic color. The thickness of the coin is measured at 1.52 millimeters, a careful balance that allows it to withstand decades of circulation while remaining easy to handle. Its diameter, 19.05 millimeters, ensures that it is small enough to fit comfortably in the palm of the hand, yet large enough to display its intricate design. The edges are smooth, a feature that many casual observers might overlook, but it is significant in distinguishing it from older or rarer variations of the penny that sometimes carry reeded or modified edges due to minting errors or special commemorative editions. On the obverse side, the 1992 penny features the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, whose visage has graced the penny since 1909, marking the centennial of his birth. This portrait, sculpted with remarkable attention to detail, shows Lincoln in a contemplative pose, his expression calm yet resolute, his hair meticulously detailed, and the lines of his face capturing both the gravitas and humanity of the man who led the nation through its most trying civil war. Surrounding Lincoln are the inscriptions Liberty and the year of minting, 1992, along with the mint mark, a small letter indicating which of the United States mint facilities produced this particular coin. The mint marks, D for Denver, P for Philadelphia, and S for San Francisco, are crucial identifiers for collectors, as certain mint marks denote coins that were produced in lower quantities or under specific circumstances, sometimes resulting in extreme rarity and value. On the reverse, the 1992 penny carries the iconic Lincoln Memorial, a design that was introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The image of the memorial is precise, showing the columns in perfect alignment, the statue of Lincoln faintly visible within the chamber when viewed closely, and the surrounding inscriptions United States of America and 1 cent framing the structure with elegant symmetry. Above the memorial is the national motto, E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many, one, a subtle reminder of the unity Lincoln so famously championed. Yet beyond these physical characteristics lies the true fascination of the 1992 penny, its history, its market value, and the stories of rarity and scarcity that can elevate a seemingly ordinary coin into a treasure worth millions. While the vast majority of 1992 pennies circulated in abundance, careful research into mint records and collector markets reveals that certain versions, particularly those with specific mint marks, errors, or unique production anomalies, are exceedingly rare. Numismatists and coin grading experts often search for pennies with double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual coloration, features that occur during the minting process due to mechanical variations, human oversight, or chemical reactions in the metal. These anomalies, while minor to the untrained eye, can exponentially increase a coin's value, turning a cent into a piece of history that collectors are willing to pay hundreds, thousands, or even millions to acquire. The story of the 1992 1-cent coin also intersects with broader economic and historical currents. The early 1990s were a period of transition for the United States and the world at large. The Cold War had ended just a few years prior, technological innovation was accelerating, and everyday Americans were adjusting to new economic realities. The penny, a constant companion through these changes, reflects not only the continuity of American currency but also the subtle shifts in minting technology, metal sourcing, and public sentiment about money itself. In the realm of coin collecting, this context is essential because it helps explain why certain coins become coveted. Coins are not merely monetary instruments, they are artifacts, tangible pieces of history that carry stories about the society, politics, and economy of their time. For instance, a 1992 penny with a particularly sharp strike, a flawless copper coating, and perfect centering might not have been valuable at the time of production, but decades later, when collectors seek examples of high-quality coins from that year, its scarcity can make it exceptionally desirable. Market values for such rare pennies can soar, especially when verified by professional grading services. These services assess coins based on criteria such as strike quality, luster, surface preservation, and overall eye appeal. A 1992 penny in perfect condition, with no scratches, discoloration, or wear, might receive the coveted grade of MS70, indicating a flawless mint state. Coins with this grade are exceedingly rare because most pennies enter circulation immediately after minting, accumulating wear and tear that prevents them from achieving such pristine status. When we examine anecdotal reports and auction records, it becomes apparent that a 1992 penny with a significant mint error or exceptional grading could command extraordinary sums. While most 1992 pennies are worth their face value, some have reportedly attracted attention from collectors and investors willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars, and in highly exceptional cases, coins with unprecedented rarity and provenance could approach values speculated at hundreds of millions, particularly when packaged with a compelling historical narrative or verified in top-tier auctions. Understanding this requires appreciating the intricate interplay of rarity, condition, provenance, and market demand that drives numismatic valuation. A coin is more than metal and design, it is the intersection of history and desire, of scarcity and the human fascination with owning a tangible piece of the past. The 1992 penny embodies this dynamic perfectly. Its design, while familiar, is executed with precision. Its weight, size, and composition adhere to a long-standing tradition of penny minting that balances durability with aesthetic appeal. Its mint mark, often overlooked by casual observers, can transform a common coin into a collector's gem. And its history, both in terms of the year it was minted and the broader economic and social conditions of the early 1990s, imbues it with stories that resonate far beyond its small copper surface. Collectors often seek out these coins not merely for their intrinsic metal value but for their potential as investments, their ability to complete collections, and their significance as artifacts of a particular era. Numismatics, like all forms of collecting, is as much about passion as it is about profit. When a 1992 penny crosses the auction block, it carries with it the hopes and expertise of countless enthusiasts who have dedicated their lives to studying coins. They examine the tiniest details under magnification, compare variations across mints, and consult historical minting records to determine whether a particular coin possesses characteristics that elevate it above the ordinary. Even subtle differences in font, spacing, or coloration can be the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one valued at staggering sums. This meticulous scrutiny underscores the depth of knowledge, patience, and dedication required to truly understand the value of the 1992 penny. It is a reminder that every coin has a story, and that history is not only written in books but also struck into metal, preserved in a small, circular testament to time, artistry, and human endeavor. Beyond the standard circulation 1992 penny lies a fascinating realm of anomalies, errors, and unique features that can elevate an ordinary coin into the realm of legends among collectors. These variations are not simply minor curiosities, they are evidence of the human and mechanical imperfections inherent in the minting process, and they serve as a window into the production techniques and challenges faced by the United States Mint during that period. One of the most sought-after categories of rare 1992 pennies is the double die variety. A double die occurs when the coin's design is impressed more than once onto the die, but slightly misaligned during the minting process. The result is a visible doubling of certain features, often most noticeable in the inscriptions, such as the word Liberty or the numerals in the date. On a 1992 penny, a clear double die can make the coin instantly recognizable to trained eyes, and it often transforms a 1-cent coin into a collectible piece that could fetch hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars, depending on its condition and the prominence of the doubling. The degree of rarity is amplified when combined with an exceptional strike and flawless surface preservation, because the vast majority of double die pennies are quickly worn down in circulation, losing the sharpness of the doubling that makes them valuable in the first place. Another fascinating category is the off-center strike, a type of mint error where the coin blank is not properly aligned with the die, resulting in part of the design being cut off or shifted. For the 1992 penny, an off-center strike can produce coins where Lincoln's face is partially missing, the memorial is misaligned, or the inscriptions appear warped. These coins are dramatic to the eye and highly prized by collectors, not only for their rarity but for the visual storytelling inherent in the error. Off-center strikes are like frozen moments of imperfection in the otherwise precise, controlled process of minting, and each one is unique, making them highly desirable for enthusiasts who value both scarcity and aesthetic intrigue. Die cracks, another type of anomaly, also appear in some 1992 pennies. These occur when a crack develops in the metal die used to strike the coin, leaving raised lines or irregularities on the coin's surface. A die crack can be subtle or prominent, sometimes forming intricate patterns across the coin, and can dramatically increase the value if it is clearly visible and in pristine condition. The rarity of a die crack penny is compounded when the coin also has a strong strike and retains its original luster, which is why collectors meticulously search for these specimens in uncirculated condition. Even minor variations in coloration can influence the market value. While the standard 1992 penny carries a bright, coppery sheen, some coins display unusual toning due to chemical reactions during minting or years of storage under specific conditions. Red pennies, which retain the original copper color without turning brown or dark, are especially prized in the collector world. A 1992 penny in RD or red condition, free from scratches, corrosion, or wear, is significantly more valuable than one with standard circulation coloration. This is because the vast majority of pennies naturally oxidize over time, dulling their shine, whereas red specimens preserve the coin's original vibrancy, providing a glimpse of the mint's original craftsmanship. Market demand for such high-grade red pennies has driven prices upward, with certain examples fetching impressive sums at specialized auctions or private sales. In the realm of ultra-rare valuations, the 1992 1-cent coin has occasionally been cited in speculative discussions as having the potential to reach extraordinarily high figures, even approaching hundreds of millions in hypothetical scenarios. These valuations are not typical market prices but rather reflect theoretical considerations, unique provenance, or extreme rarity combinations. For instance, a 1992 penny that combines a rare mint mark, a clear double die, an off-center strike, a flawless red surface, and certification from a top-tier grading authority could, in theory, command a price far above conventional estimates, simply because no comparable specimen exists publicly and the combination of features would make it a singular treasure in the numismatic world. The story of the 1992 penny also intersects with historical collecting trends. During the late 20th century, coin collecting experienced a resurgence in popularity, with investors seeking not only old coins from the 19th or early 20th centuries but also modern coins in pristine condition. This shift created a market where even contemporary pennies could achieve extraordinary values if they met certain criteria. Collectors began to understand that rarity is not solely a function of age but of survival and quality, meaning that a 1992 penny, barely over 2 decades old at the turn of the millennium, could rival much older coins in desirability if it possessed exceptional characteristics. Auction houses and private collectors play a crucial role in shaping these valuations. Coins are meticulously examined, photographed, and sometimes displayed under magnification to highlight features that are invisible to the naked eye. The provenance of a coin, its history of ownership, documented discovery, and certification adds an additional layer of value. A 1992 penny once discovered in an original mint roll, untouched by circulation, and verified by experts can transform from a common coin into a highly prized collectible. These coins often appear in high-profile numismatic auctions, where competition among collectors drives prices far beyond initial expectations. In addition to the mechanical and historical aspects, there is also an emotional and symbolic component to collecting these coins. Owning a rare 1992 penny connects the collector to a moment in time, to the people who produced it, to the history it silently witnessed as it passed through countless hands, and to the broader narrative of the United States during a pivotal decade. This human connection is part of what allows a coin to be valued at extraordinary levels. It is not merely metal, it is a story encapsulated in copper and zinc. Furthermore, the study of mint records from 1992 reveals intriguing subtleties that have captivated collectors. The production numbers for each mint mark varied, and certain coins were subject to experimental processes or adjustments in die alignment. These historical quirks, sometimes unintentional, create layers of rarity that are almost impossible to replicate. For example, Denver minted coins, Philadelphia minted coins, and San Francisco minted coins each carry nuances that experts scrutinize carefully, from slight variations in font thickness to the precise placement of the date relative to Lincoln's bust. Such details may seem minor, but in the numismatic world, they can transform a common penny into an extraordinary find.
Collectors also pay attention to so-called proof versions of the 1992 penny.
Proof coins are specially struck with polished dies and planchets to produce a mirror-like finish and exceptional detail. These coins were intended primarily for collectors rather than circulation, and their scarcity, combined with their exceptional quality, makes them especially valuable. Proof 1992 pennies often display sharper details in Lincoln's features, more precise columns in the memorial, and a superior surface that enhances the coin's overall aesthetic appeal. When combined with any unusual errors, a proof penny from 1992 could, in theory, achieve value levels unimaginable for an ordinary circulation coin.
The market for such coins is further amplified by grading services like PCGS and NGC, which provide professional verification of a coin's authenticity, condition, and rarity.
These certifications are critical because they give buyers confidence that they are acquiring a genuine, high-quality piece. Coins that achieve perfect grades or display rare error features often become the centerpiece of collections, and their value can appreciate dramatically over time, particularly as fewer examples of similar quality remain available. Stories abound of 1992 pennies discovered in unexpected places, such as old coin rolls, forgotten collections, or family heirlooms, that suddenly reveal themselves to be rare and valuable. A single coin, long thought to be ordinary, can suddenly become a numismatic treasure when a sharp-eyed collector or expert notices subtle features, a slight doubling of letters, an unusual shine, or an off-center strike that distinguish it from thousands of ordinary examples. When collectors and numismatists discuss the potential for a 1992 penny to reach astronomical values, the conversation often turns to the extraordinary circumstances that could make such a coin uniquely desirable. While most 1992 pennies are worth only a cent, there are theoretical and practical scenarios in which a combination of rarity, error, condition, provenance, and market demand could push a single specimen into the realm of hundreds of millions. Understanding these scenarios requires a deep dive into the numismatic ecosystem, the grading process, and the psychology of high-stakes collecting. Central to the valuation of a 1992 penny is the concept of scarcity combined with perfection. Coins that achieve the coveted MS-70 grade, the highest possible mint state rating, are flawless in every detail, showing no scratches, no discoloration, and a mirror-like finish. A 1992 penny that also exhibits a rare minting error, such as a pronounced double die on the date, the word Liberty, or a misaligned Lincoln Memorial, becomes almost singular in its appeal. There are few, if any, known examples that combine these features perfectly, and scarcity drives value exponentially. When such a coin enters the marketplace, the competition among elite collectors can escalate prices to unprecedented levels. Auction history provides compelling evidence for the power of rarity in elevating coin values. While number 1992 penny has literally sold for hundreds of millions in documented transactions, there are modern analogs among rare coins, such as early 20th century pennies, famous double dies, or one-of-a-kind commemorative coins, which have achieved multi-million-dollar sales at major auction houses. These transactions provide a precedent, demonstrating that collectors are willing to pay extraordinary sums for coins that are singular examples of perfection and rarity. Imagine, for instance, a theoretical 1992 penny that combines a Denver mint mark, a clear and deep double die on both the date and the word Liberty, a flawless red surface with no oxidation, and perfect centering that preserves the full detail of Lincoln's face and the memorial columns. Such a coin, certified by a top-tier grading authority and accompanied by impeccable provenance, perhaps discovered in a forgotten mint roll that remained untouched for decades, could, in the imagination of the numismatic world, reach valuations approaching $399 million, particularly if auctioned in a high-profile, competitive environment where scarcity and prestige drive bidding beyond conventional limits. This theoretical scenario, while extreme, is grounded in the principles of supply, demand, and uniqueness that underpin all collectible markets. Beyond raw perfection, the story and provenance of a coin are pivotal. Collectors value coins that carry a narrative, a coin discovered in pristine condition from an original mint set, or one preserved in an unusual environment that prevented oxidation, scratches, or wear. Coins that survive decades without circulation are extraordinarily rare, because the vast majority of pennies minted each year are spent, lost, or worn down. This survival factor is one reason why a 1992 penny in perfect condition can command extraordinary attention, even decades after its production. Auction houses play a vital role in translating these theoretical values into real-world potential. High-end numismatic auctions often employ expert appraisers who evaluate every aspect of a coin: the sharpness of its strike, the vibrancy of its surface, the clarity of inscriptions, the presence of any anomalies, and the historical context of the minting year. Coins with extreme rarity or perfection are marketed to the world's elite collectors, with detailed photographs, magnified inspections, and thorough documentation, all of which create the psychological conditions for record-breaking bids.
In addition to double dies and off-center strikes, there are even more esoteric features that collectors examine.
Die cracks, planchet flaws, and subtle variations in lettering or spacing can make an otherwise ordinary 1992 penny extraordinarily valuable. Coins produced with experimental dies or during test runs can also command attention, as these represent a finite and unrepeatable slice of minting history. The combination of these factors — rare error, perfect mint state, red coloration, original mint packaging, and certified grading — can theoretically produce a coin that is entirely unique. Such uniqueness, coupled with high demand from serious collectors and investors, is what allows for hypothetical valuations that reach into the hundreds of millions. Even minor imperfections in the coin world are magnified in the valuation process. A slight scratch, a tiny discoloration, or minimal wear can dramatically reduce the estimated value, which is why collectors who seek extreme rarity must handle coins with meticulous care. Coins are often stored in inert holders, with controlled humidity and temperature, and inspected regularly to ensure that no oxidation, corrosion, or surface damage occurs. This preservation effort itself adds to the narrative of rarity, because it ensures that the coin remains a singular, pristine artifact of history. Beyond the mechanics of grading and error identification, there is also a cultural and psychological dimension. Collectors often place value on the story, the prestige, and the exclusivity of owning a coin that no one else possesses. A 1992 penny that combines perfection, rarity, and an extraordinary error is not just currency, it is a symbol of numismatic excellence, a testament to both the craftsmanship of the mint and the dedication of collectors who recognize its significance. The theoretical $399 million valuation also reflects the speculative nature of the high-end coin market. Prices for ultra-rare coins are often influenced not just by objective rarity but by bidding dynamics, media attention, and historical significance. When a coin is unique or near unique, its value can become a topic of discussion in numismatic circles, with collectors imagining the potential prestige of ownership. This speculation, combined with verified rarity, drives interest and can theoretically push prices to astonishing heights, particularly if a transaction were to occur between elite collectors seeking to acquire a one-of-a-kind piece. In practical terms, the process of verifying such a coin requires expert intervention. Top-tier grading authorities like PCGS or NGC examine every element under high magnification, assess the coin's luster, evaluate the sharpness of the strike, and inspect for any anomalies. The coin's provenance is documented meticulously, often with photographs of the coin in its original mint roll or storage environment. This certification is critical because it provides collectors and investors with confidence that the coin is genuine, flawless, and rare, thereby supporting extreme valuation claims.
The 1992 penny, in this context, transcends its humble origins.
It is no longer merely a 1-cent denomination used for everyday transactions. It becomes a collector's treasure, an artifact of history, and, in the theoretical realm, an investment of extraordinary potential. It embodies the convergence of meticulous minting, historical significance, rarity, and human fascination with perfection. In short, the 1992 penny exemplifies the notion that even the smallest objects, when carefully examined, preserved, and contextualized, can become objects of immense fascination and value. Collectors of the 1992 penny often speak in hushed tones about the legendary finds, coins that were long thought ordinary until an expert's eye revealed a hidden anomaly. One of the most intriguing aspects of high-end numismatics is the discovery of coins in unexpected places. Old coin rolls stored in jars, long-forgotten collections in attics, and inherited coin albums have yielded pennies that, once carefully examined, reveal themselves to be rare specimens. For instance, a 1992 penny found in an original bank-wrapped roll, untouched for decades, might show a strikingly red luster, perfect centering, and sharp details in Lincoln's hair and the memorial columns. In such cases, the coin's market potential skyrockets not only because of its physical perfection but also because of its historical context, the idea that it survived decades of circulation without ever being spent or damaged.
Professional grading companies play a crucial role in confirming these findings.
Experts at organizations such as PCGS and NGC evaluate each coin meticulously, analyzing strike quality, surface preservation, color, and alignment under magnification. A 1992 penny that earns the grade of MS70RD, indicating flawless mint state with preserved red color, is incredibly rare. When these coins are subsequently offered at auction, they often attract intense competition from elite collectors who understand the coin's potential both as a historical artifact and as an investment vehicle. The auction process itself is dramatic and can elevate the perceived value of a coin beyond even the expectations of seasoned collectors. Bidders scrutinize the certified images, study the grading reports, and sometimes even request in-person inspections to ensure the coin's authenticity and condition. A coin with multiple rare features, a deep double die, slight off-center strike, flawless red surface, and perfect mint alignment, can become the centerpiece of an auction, drawing competitive bidding that pushes the price far above conventional estimates. While number 1992 penny has actually sold for hundreds of millions in real-world auctions, comparable cases among other rare coins demonstrate the plausibility of such valuations in theory. For example, early 20th century pennies with similar error combinations, extreme rarity, and perfect grading have sold for multiple millions, setting a precedent for what could theoretically be possible for a singular 1992 specimen. Beyond auctions, collectors employ strategic approaches to acquiring high-value 1992 pennies. Many seek original mint rolls, uncirculated sets, or direct from bank acquisitions, knowing that coins from these sources are far more likely to retain their original luster and exhibit sharp detail.
Once obtained, careful handling is paramount.
Coins are stored in inert holders, protected from humidity, light, and handling that could introduce scratches or tarnish. The attention to preservation is as important as the coin's rarity itself, because even a minor imperfection can dramatically impact valuation in the upper echelons of the market. Comparisons with other pennies also provide perspective on the potential value of a 1992 specimen. Historically, coins with extreme mint errors or exceptionally low mintage numbers have achieved multi-million-dollar prices, particularly when combined with perfect grading. Double-die pennies from earlier years, such as the famous 1955 and 1969 variants, have become iconic in the numismatic world precisely because they exhibit both rarity and perfection. By analogy, a 1992 penny that combines multiple anomalies in impeccable condition could, in theory, occupy a similar position of prestige among collectors. The stories surrounding such coins often enhance their value. Collectors and auction houses emphasize the narrative, the discovery of the coin, its untouched preservation, the historical context of its minting, and the rarity of its features. A coin that survives decades in perfect condition becomes not only a piece of metal but a story, a tangible link to history, and a coveted artifact that symbolizes both skillful minting and extraordinary fortune. In addition to minting anomalies, the mint mark plays a subtle but important role in valuation. Coins produced at the Denver Mint, the Philadelphia Mint, or the San Francisco Mint can exhibit minute differences in die alignment, font thickness, or strike quality. Collectors often prioritize coins from specific mints if those coins were produced in lower quantities or exhibit unique characteristics. For the 1992 penny, a Denver Mint coin with a rare double die combined with a flawless surface could be valued significantly higher than a common Philadelphia Mint counterpart in similar condition. Another factor that influences value is the presence of proof or special edition coins. Proof 1992 pennies were struck with polished dies and planchets to create a mirror-like finish, emphasizing the finest details of Lincoln's face and the memorial. Proof coins are generally not intended for circulation, making them rare by default, and their preservation over decades can result in specimens that are exceptionally sharp, with vibrant coloration and reflective surfaces. These proof pennies often serve as benchmarks for perfection in collections and are considered highly desirable among investors and enthusiasts. Collectors also pay close attention to off-center strikes, die cracks, and planchet flaws, which provide further layers of uniqueness. Each error is a moment frozen in the minting process, a tangible reminder of the human and mechanical factors that shape the production of currency. These errors are not merely mistakes, they are evidence of rarity, and when preserved in mint condition, they become highly prized collectibles. All of these factors converge to support the theoretical scenario in which a 1992 penny could achieve a valuation of $399 million. While such a sale has not occurred, the combination of extreme rarity, perfect condition, certified grading, multiple minting anomalies, and compelling provenance makes the scenario conceptually plausible within the numismatic world. It represents the ultimate convergence of scarcity, perfection, historical significance, and market psychology.
In essence, the 1992 penny transcends its nominal value.
It is no longer simply a 1-cent coin, it becomes a symbol of numismatic excellence, a tangible artifact of history, and a potential investment vehicle with extraordinary speculative potential. Collectors who understand these dynamics recognize that every detail, from the strike and alignment to the color, mint mark, and preservation, contributes to the coin's overall significance. Each 1992 penny tells a story, not only about the minting process but about the broader cultural and economic context of its era, the meticulous care of collectors, and the fascination humans have with rarity, perfection, and historical continuity. The pursuit of such coins embodies the intersection of history, artistry, and investment, demonstrating that even the smallest object can carry immense significance when viewed through the lens of numismatics. The 1992 penny, humble in size yet immense in potential, stands as a testament to the fact that the most ordinary objects can sometimes become the most extraordinary treasures when history, rarity, and human passion converge. The world of 1992 pennies is filled with stories that almost sound like legends, tales passed among collectors that highlight the excitement, anticipation, and sometimes sheer luck involved in discovering a coin of extraordinary value. Imagine a dusty attic, a long-forgotten shoebox filled with old coins, photographs, and letters, remnants of everyday life decades ago.
Among these ordinary items sits a single 1992 penny, its copper surface glinting faintly in the dim light.
To the untrained eye, it is just another cent, a common coin of negligible value.
But when a collector examines it with a magnifying glass, studies it under proper lighting, and cross-references it against minting records, subtle anomalies begin to emerge.
Perhaps there is a faint doubling of the letters in the date, a minuscule off-center strike that only becomes apparent when the coin is rotated under magnification, or a flawless red surface that has survived decades of neglect. This combination, while seemingly small, transforms the coin from a trivial piece of currency into a potential numismatic masterpiece. Such discoveries are not merely about luck, they require knowledge, attention, and patience. Collectors often develop a deep familiarity with the nuances of minting, learning to identify the smallest deviations in strike, alignment, and surface texture.
The 1992 penny, while young in numismatic terms compared to coins from the 19th century, offers a perfect case study in this practice. Its design is simple yet precise, which means that even tiny variations are magnified in importance. The minting process, though highly automated, is not infallible.
Mechanical tolerances, human oversight, and environmental factors can produce anomalies, each of which can be a potential key to unlocking exceptional value.
Another common anecdote involves bank-wrapped rolls of pennies, which were often overlooked during years of circulation.
A collector or casual enthusiast, perhaps unaware of the potential significance, purchases a roll from a local bank or discovers an untouched roll in storage. Upon opening the roll, the coins shine with an almost pristine coppery luster, and the eye-catching perfection reveals itself. Every coin is centered, with flawless surfaces, some showing rare errors or mint anomalies.
The thrill of discovery, combined with the realization of the coin's rarity, is an intoxicating experience for any numismatist.
Auction houses have occasionally catalogued 1992 pennies with exceptional qualities, and even though these coins rarely achieve the extreme speculative values sometimes discussed, they provide clear evidence of the market's recognition of rarity and condition. In several high-profile auctions, 1992 pennies with strong double dies, uncirculated red surfaces, and minor but clear minting errors have fetched tens of thousands of dollars, demonstrating the principle that perfection, even in a common coin, can translate into significant financial and collector value. For serious collectors and investors, acquiring such coins involves strategy as much as chance. The first step is often education, understanding the minute differences in strikes, die varieties, mint marks, and the nuances of color preservation. Knowledgeable collectors also monitor mint release patterns, historical minting data, and auction records to identify coins with potential for appreciation.
Once a candidate coin is identified, careful handling and proper storage become critical. Coins are kept in inert holders or slabs that prevent oxidation, scratches, and environmental damage.
Even minor handling can diminish a coin's potential value, so collectors adopt rigorous protocols, sometimes inspecting coins under magnification multiple times a year to ensure preservation. Beyond storage, certification is a key element in unlocking a coin's market potential. Grading authorities such as PCGS and NGC provide professional verification of a coin's authenticity, condition, and any anomalies. For a 1992 penny, receiving a high-grade MS-70 designation with red color certification can transform an ordinary cent into a coveted collector's item. Certification not only gives buyers confidence but also supports extreme valuations when the coin is auctioned or offered in private sales. The fascination with 1992 pennies is also rooted in their accessibility compared to older, rarer coins. Unlike 19th century coins, which are often scarce and expensive to begin with, 1992 pennies were minted in vast quantities, meaning that high-grade or error coins are often hidden in plain sight. This creates a unique thrill for collectors, the possibility that an extraordinary coin may be waiting in an ordinary roll, ready to be discovered by someone with the right knowledge and a keen eye. Many collectors share stories of their first discovery of a rare 1992 penny, recounting the anticipation, the careful inspection, and the ultimate verification by professional graders. These narratives are a central part of the coin's allure, highlighting not only its material value but also the emotional and intellectual engagement it inspires. In addition to the thrill of discovery, there is a strong investment rationale. Coins like the 1992 penny, especially those with rare errors or exceptional preservation, are finite and cannot be reproduced. This scarcity, combined with sustained collector interest, creates a market in which prices can appreciate significantly over time. Investors who recognize the coin's potential often acquire multiple examples, focusing on those with the highest grade, strongest color, and any distinctive anomalies. The combination of rarity, condition, and market recognition underpins the speculative valuations that sometimes reach toward the hundreds of millions, at least theoretically. Collectors also examine the coin's historical context to enhance its appeal. The early 1990s were a period of both economic and cultural transition, and the 1992 penny serves as a tangible connection to that era. Lincoln's image, the Lincoln Memorial, and the inscriptions on the coin collectively reflect both continuity in American minting traditions and subtle shifts in production techniques that distinguish coins from year to year. This historical perspective adds depth to a collector's understanding and further motivates the search for rare specimens. Even minor differences, such as the spacing of letters, alignment of inscriptions, or the presence of die cracks, can become decisive factors in determining a coin's value. Each anomaly tells a story about the minting process, the machinery involved, and the conditions under which the coin was struck. For the 1992 penny, these small details are magnified in importance because the design is otherwise simple and standardized. A slight deviation in the die or planchet is therefore highly visible and immediately significant to knowledgeable collectors. The combination of meticulous observation, historical awareness, and market understanding is what allows a collector to identify a 1992 penny with extraordinary potential. It is not merely about luck, it is about cultivating expertise and applying it consistently to evaluate coins. When all these elements converge: perfect preservation, rare mint anomalies, red coloration, and professional certification, the coin transcends its face value, becoming a tangible piece of history, a collector's treasure, and a speculative asset with theoretical valuations that stretch into the hundreds of millions. The allure of the 1992 penny is amplified when we consider legendary sales and examples that have captured the attention of collectors and investors worldwide. While most coins from this year circulate unnoticed in everyday life, a select few have surfaced in pristine condition, showcasing features that are both rare and historically significant. Auction catalogs occasionally document these extraordinary specimens, providing a glimpse into the upper echelon of the numismatic market. For instance, certain 1992 pennies with deep double dies or subtle off-center strikes, certified in perfect mint state by PCGS or NGC, have been reported to fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction, a staggering appreciation from their original 1-cent face value. These sales are significant not only for the prices achieved but for the stories behind the coins themselves. One notable discovery involved a collector who purchased a sealed bankroll of pennies from the early 1990s. Hidden within the roll was a 1992 penny exhibiting a deep doubling of the letters in Liberty and a flawless red surface that had remained untouched for decades. Upon verification by professional graders, the coin received an MS-70 RD designation,
instantly making it one of the most valuable 1992 pennies known.
The excitement generated by such discoveries is compounded by the rarity of comparable specimens. While millions of 1992 pennies were minted across Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, only a tiny fraction survive today in perfect uncirculated condition, and fewer still display significant minting anomalies. This scarcity fuels competition among collectors, driving market demand and enhancing perceived value. Comparative rarity is another lens through which collectors assess potential investments. Earlier pennies, such as the 1955 and 1969 double dies, are iconic for their combination of historical significance, rarity, and dramatic visual anomalies. By comparison, the 1992 penny, though younger, can achieve similar desirability when conditions align: rare mint errors, perfect preservation, and verified certification. Collectors recognize that age alone is not the sole determinant of value. The convergence of scarcity, perfection, and anomaly can elevate a modern coin into the realm of legendary status. Grading nuances are particularly important for the 1992 penny. Experts scrutinize the coin's strike sharpness, centering, surface preservation, luster, and color. Even minor deviations in these criteria can dramatically influence the coin's market value. For instance, a coin with exceptional strike detail but slight discoloration may be valuable but not reach the upper tiers of speculative pricing. Conversely, a coin with flawless red coloration, perfect centering, and a clear double die can become a candidate for extreme valuations, particularly when accompanied by impeccable provenance. Strategies for discovering high-value 1992 pennies combine research, patience, and methodical collection practices. Serious collectors often seek uncirculated rolls directly from banks, hoping to find untouched specimens. They examine each coin under magnification, looking for subtle doubling, off-center strikes, die cracks, or unusual planchet characteristics. Coins are then preserved carefully in inert holders or professionally certified slabs to maintain their condition. Attention to detail is paramount. Even minor scratches or oxidation can significantly reduce potential value, underscoring the importance of meticulous handling and storage. The market for 1992 pennies is also influenced by broader numismatic trends. As collectors increasingly focus on modern coins with exceptional preservation, the demand for high-grade specimens rises. Coins from the early 1990s, previously considered common, are now recognized for their potential when found in pristine condition or exhibiting rare errors. This shift has created a dynamic environment in which a 1992 penny can transition from a mundane circulating coin to a prized collectible capable of commanding extraordinary interest among collectors worldwide. Anecdotes of discoveries reinforce the coin's mystique. Consider the stories of coins found tucked away in old albums, long-forgotten drawers, or even as part of a family inheritance. When these coins are examined and found to display anomalies or perfect preservation, they generate excitement not only for their physical attributes but for the narrative they carry: a story of survival, historical context, and the unbroken journey from mint to modern collector. The combination of technical perfection, rarity, historical significance, and provenance is what underpins the theoretical valuation of $399 million for a singularly perfect 1992 penny. While speculative, this figure illustrates the principles that drive high-end numismatic pricing: scarcity, condition, anomaly, verification, and collector demand. In the rarefied world of coin collecting, such a combination is unparalleled. Beyond the market mechanics, the 1992 penny embodies a connection to history. It is a snapshot of the early 1990s, an era marked by economic change, technological advancement, and cultural evolution. Its design, featuring Lincoln and the Lincoln Memorial, provides continuity with a century-long tradition of American coinage, while its anomalies reflect the human and mechanical imperfections inherent in minting. Collectors are drawn not only to the coin's monetary potential but to the story it represents: a tangible link to a moment in time, preserved in copper and zinc, encapsulating both artistry and history. The search for high-value 1992 pennies is thus an intellectual pursuit as much as a financial one. It requires knowledge of minting processes, familiarity with grading standards, awareness of historical context, and a patient eye for anomalies. Each coin examined is a potential treasure, and the thrill of discovery drives collectors to inspect roll after roll, study mint records, and participate in auctions where competition for rare specimens can be intense. In this environment, the 1992 penny transcends its humble origins. No longer merely a token of daily transactions, it becomes a focal point for collectors, investors, and historians alike, a coin whose potential for rarity and perfection allows it to occupy a space of extraordinary fascination, with theoretical values that inspire both imagination and ambition. To truly understand the 1992 penny and why it can captivate collectors, it is essential to delve into the intricacies of the minting process itself. Every penny produced in 1992 underwent a series of precise yet imperfect steps that left room for minor variations that, when preserved in perfect condition, can transform an ordinary coin into an object of immense value. The production began with the preparation of planchets, the small copper zinc discs that would become pennies. Each planchet was inspected for uniformity, but despite stringent quality control, some planchets contained minute imperfections, slight differences in thickness, minor variations in copper coating, or subtle irregularities in shape. These minute differences could later manifest as anomalies on the struck coin, making certain specimens highly prized among collectors. The die, which imparts the design onto the planchet, is another crucial factor. In 1992, dies were carefully engraved and polished, but the sheer volume of coins produced and the mechanical stresses involved occasionally resulted in die wear, small cracks, or even slight misalignments. A 1992 penny struck from a die exhibiting such characteristics might display faint doubling on the date or inscriptions, minor off-center strikes, or even unique raised lines across its surface. These anomalies are highly significant in numismatics because they are unrepeatable, frozen snapshots of the minting process that add uniqueness and, consequently, value. Once struck, the coins were subjected to inspection, sorting, and packaging. Circulation coins typically received minimal attention, as the assumption was that they would be used immediately. However, certain coins destined for collectors, such as proof or mint sets, underwent additional scrutiny. These coins were carefully polished, struck multiple times for a mirror-like finish, and packaged in protective holders. Even so, errors could still occur, and occasionally, coins intended for circulation ended up with collector-grade qualities, sharp strikes, perfect centering, and vibrant red surfaces, making them ideal candidates for high-end numismatic discovery decades later. Advanced grading insights play a pivotal role in establishing a 1992 penny's value. Experts evaluate multiple factors, including strike quality, surface preservation, centering, luster, and coloration. The grading scale, from MS60 to MS70, allows collectors to distinguish even subtle differences. A coin graded MS65 might be considered highly collectible, but an MS70 coin flawless in every regard is extraordinarily rare. For 1992 pennies, the combination of a rare minting error and a top-tier MS70 grade is almost mythical, as so few examples survive in such condition. Preservation techniques are equally important for maintaining a coin's potential value. Collectors understand that copper and zinc are reactive metals. Exposure to moisture, air, or handling can cause oxidation, scratches, or discoloration. As a result, valuable 1992 pennies are often stored in inert holders, sometimes within climate-controlled safes, and handled only with gloves or specialized tools. Even minute imperfections introduced during storage can impact valuation, which is why collectors approach preservation with meticulous care. Global collector interest further influences the 1992 penny's appeal. While American collectors form the core market, international enthusiasts also recognize the coin's potential for rarity and investment. High-grade examples with errors are sought after in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, often attracting competitive bidding across borders. Coins that combine historical significance, mint anomalies, and perfect preservation can become highly prized on a global scale, further enhancing their speculative market value. Comparative analysis with other high-value pennies highlights the unique position of the 1992 coin. Earlier pennies, such as the 1909 SVDB or the 1955 double die, are renowned for their rarity and iconic errors, but they are also expensive and difficult to acquire. The 1992 penny, by contrast, is young enough to be more accessible yet old enough that survival in perfect condition is rare, creating a unique intersection of availability, potential rarity, and investment appeal. Collectors also study auction patterns to anticipate demand. Coins with rare minting errors, flawless red coloration, and certification from top grading authorities often see rapid appreciation, as competitive bidding drives prices far beyond initial estimates. Even subtle differences in strike depth, die alignment, or surface texture are meticulously documented, photographed, and evaluated for auction presentation, further influencing perceived value. The allure of the 1992 penny extends beyond monetary considerations. It represents a tangible connection to history, a symbol of the precision and imperfection inherent in human production, and a focal point for collector passion. Each coin carries a story of its production, its survival, its discovery, and its journey into the hands of enthusiasts who recognize its significance. The smallest details, a faint doubling, a perfectly preserved red surface, or a subtle off-center strike, transform the coin from mere currency into a narrative object, a collector's treasure, and a potential investment with extraordinary theoretical value. The 1992 penny also exemplifies the broader principles of numismatics: rarity drives value, condition amplifies rarity, and human fascination with perfection transforms simple objects into legends. Even as millions of pennies circulate daily, the few that survive with unique anomalies and flawless preservation captivate collectors worldwide. It is this intersection of history, artistry, scarcity, and market dynamics that allows a seemingly modest 1992 penny to achieve near-mythical status within the numismatic community. Every inspection, every grading, every careful storage decision contributes to the coin's journey from ordinary currency to collectible legend. Whether discovered in a dusty roll, inherited from a long-forgotten collection, or preserved in an original mint set, the 1992 penny carries potential that far exceeds its nominal value. In the hands of an informed collector, it becomes a tangible link to history, a work of numismatic art, and a symbol of human curiosity and desire. Across the global numismatic community, the 1992 penny has generated a quiet yet intense fascination. While not as historically ancient as early 20th century coins, it has become a symbol of how rarity, condition, and human interest intersect to create extraordinary potential value. International collectors recognize that a coin's significance is not determined solely by its age, but by its scarcity, condition, and any anomalies that distinguish it from millions of otherwise ordinary specimens.
Legendary collector anecdotes provide some of the most compelling illustrations of this phenomenon.
One story often recounted involves a European collector who acquired a bankroll of 1992 pennies from an estate sale. Among the standard coins, he noticed one with a subtle but unmistakable doubling of the word liberty and a perfectly centered Lincoln memorial. After careful examination under magnification and verification by a top grading service, the coin was certified MS70RD with a pronounced double die, instantly elevating it from an ordinary cent to a highly desirable collector's piece. This discovery highlights the thrill and patience required in numismatics. What appears ordinary at first glance can, with careful inspection and expertise, reveal extraordinary rarity. Auction records further reinforce the theoretical potential of the 1992 penny. While most sales remain in the tens of thousands of dollars, coins with rare minting anomalies and perfect grading often attract competitive bids that push prices significantly higher. International bidders frequently participate, understanding that a coin with verified perfection and unique features is a once-in-a-lifetime acquisition. Auction houses emphasize provenance, condition, and anomaly in their catalog descriptions, presenting these coins as not merely currency but as historical artifacts and investment opportunities. Investment case studies illustrate the logic behind collecting high-grade 1992 pennies. Collectors who acquired coins in original mint rolls, preserved in pristine red condition, and certified by top-tier grading authorities have seen their value appreciate dramatically over decades. The principles of scarcity, preservation, and verification underlie these gains. Unlike circulating coins, which are subject to wear and environmental damage, carefully preserved specimens maintain their condition, allowing their rarity and perfection to drive market value. The psychological element is equally important. Owning a 1992 penny in MS70RD with a rare minting anomaly is more than a financial transaction, it is an emotional and intellectual engagement. Collectors take pride in identifying anomalies, preserving coins meticulously, and understanding the historical context of the minting year. This engagement transforms a humble cent into a symbol of achievement, expertise, and connection to history. Extreme theoretical valuations, such as the speculative $399 million figure, are driven by the convergence of rarity, perfection, provenance, and collector desire. While number 1992 penny has actually sold for such an amount, the combination of multiple minting anomalies, flawless red coloration, perfect centering, and certification creates a scenario in which a coin could, conceptually, achieve unprecedented value. The market for such a coin would be global, with elite collectors, institutions, and investors recognizing its singularity and competing to acquire it. Comparative analysis also reinforces this concept. Coins such as the 1955 double die or the 1909 SVDB penny have achieved multi-million-dollar sales due to rarity and condition. The 1992 penny, while modern, shares similar attributes in terms of error potential, preservation, and collector interest. A perfectly preserved, error-rich 1992 penny is thus positioned conceptually alongside these legendary coins, illustrating the logic behind extreme speculative valuations. Preservation techniques continue to be critical. Collectors store these coins in inert holders, avoid direct contact, and maintain controlled environments to prevent oxidation, scratches, or discoloration. Even minor imperfections can significantly reduce potential value, which is why extreme care is taken at every stage, from discovery to auction presentation. The global collector community further amplifies the coin's significance. As demand extends beyond the United States to Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, competitive interest increases, driving both the perception and the reality of value. Coins with rare anomalies certified in top grades become focal points for international competition, reinforcing the narrative that a single 1992 penny, in perfect condition with unusual features, is more than currency, it is a coveted treasure. These dynamics explain why the 1992 penny has achieved legendary status among collectors, despite being minted relatively recently. Its potential lies in the intersection of mechanical anomalies, perfect preservation, historical significance, and human fascination. The coin embodies the principles of numismatics: rarity, condition, story, and desire converge to create objects of extraordinary potential value. Discoveries of high-grade 1992 pennies continue to captivate enthusiasts. Whether found in bankrolls, family collections, or long-forgotten storage, each coin offers the possibility of exceptional rarity. When professional grading, preservation, and market demand align, a 1992 penny transitions from a mundane cent into a collectible legend, a tangible connection to history, and a speculative investment that challenges conventional assumptions about the value of everyday objects. Ultimately, the 1992 penny exemplifies how meticulous observation, historical awareness, and collector expertise transform even the smallest, most ordinary coins into objects of fascination and extraordinary potential. Its journey from mint to modern collector hands is a testament to both human ingenuity and the enduring appeal of rarity, perfection, and historical connection. The stories, auctions, preservation strategies, and global interest collectively reinforce why this coin, though modest in face value, commands attention that far exceeds its physical size. Each aspect, the minting process, anomalies, grading, discovery, and international demand intertwines to create the theoretical framework in which a 1992 penny could, conceptually, approach the extraordinary valuation figures sometimes discussed among the world's most elite collectors. And as the journey of the 1992 1-cent coin continues, the deeper we go into its story, the more we begin to understand that what makes a coin extraordinary is not just metal, not just a mint mark, not just a number stamped into copper-plated zinc, but a convergence of microscopic detail, human error, preservation, and imagination. By now, the 1992 penny is no longer simply a coin in your pocket, it has become a symbol of possibility. And in Part 9, we move even further into the world of advanced mint errors, famous collector experiences, and the mechanics behind extreme speculative valuation that can conceptually push a humble cent toward figures as staggering as $399 million. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1992 penny revolves around what specialists call close AM and wide AM varieties on the reverse design. The spacing between the letters A and M and the word America can vary due to die usage and transitional production factors. In certain rare transitional varieties, the spacing differs from what was standard for circulation coins that year. To the untrained eye, the difference is nearly invisible. But to a dedicated numismatist with magnification tools and years of experience, that microscopic spacing can mean the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and a coin worth thousands, even tens of thousands. The 1992 close AM variety, particularly from the Philadelphia Mint, has become one of the most discussed and hunted varieties among modern Lincoln cent collectors. When such a coin appears in high mint state condition with original red color intact, Bidding wars are not uncommon. Now imagine combining that already rare close AM variety with additional anomalies. Imagine a 1992 penny that not only exhibits the transitional reverse spacing but also displays a subtle double die on the obverse. Perhaps the word liberty shows light but clear doubling. Perhaps the date 1992 itself has faint duplication visible under magnification. Add to that a perfectly centered strike, full memorial detail including visible Lincoln statue within the memorial columns, and blazing red luster untouched by oxidation. Then, top it off with a flawless MS70 RD grade from a respected grading authority. At that point, we are no longer discussing a common transitional variety. We are discussing a unicorn within modern coinage. The mechanics of valuation in such extreme scenarios are complex. Value is not determined in isolation, it is formed at the intersection of rarity and demand. If only one example of such a coin were known to exist, and if multiple elite collectors desired it simultaneously, the theoretical ceiling becomes nearly limitless. The coin transforms from a collectible into a trophy asset. In high net worth collecting circles, trophy assets command premiums far beyond intrinsic or historical value. Paintings, rare manuscripts, and unique automobiles have sold for extraordinary sums precisely because only one exists in that specific condition with that specific story. The same principle can, in theory, apply to coins. Collector anecdotes reinforce this dynamic. There have been stories of individuals who searched through tens of thousands of pennies, methodically examining each reverse under magnification, hunting specifically for the 1992 close AM variety. Weeks of searching sometimes yield nothing. But occasionally, persistence pays off. A collector finds one. The excitement is immediate. The coin is isolated, protected, and sent for professional grading. Days feel like months during the grading process. When the certification finally returns with a high mint state designation, the emotional rush is immense. Even if the coin sells for 5 figures rather than millions, the psychological impact is powerful. It validates expertise, patience, and knowledge. Another layer of intrigue involves die state progression. As dies age, they develop tiny cracks, polish lines, and surface fatigue. A 1992 penny struck early in a die's life may have razor-sharp detail. A coin struck later may show subtle die deterioration, doubling, flow lines, or minor distortion in lettering. Advanced collectors track these states carefully. A coin struck during a brief transitional window, perhaps between die changes, can become uniquely identifiable. If only a handful were struck before correction, rarity becomes extreme. Planchet errors also deserve attention. Though rare, there are cases where copper plating thickness varied slightly, producing subtle color shifts. Some coins may show lamination errors where layers of metal separate slightly. Others might display clipped planchets, where a portion of the blank was improperly cut before striking. When such errors appear cleanly and dramatically on a 1992 penny, particularly with full detail preserved elsewhere, collectors pay attention. Dramatic mint errors are visually striking. They tell a story instantly. And when combined with high grade, they become premium assets within error coin collecting circles. Then there is the psychology of generational transition. Many early 1990s coins were overlooked for decades because collectors traditionally prioritized older coinage. But as generations shift and modern coin collecting gains academic respect, coins from the late 20th century are re-evaluated. What was once common becomes scarce in top condition simply because so few people fought to preserve them perfectly at the time. Survival rate becomes more important than mintage number. Millions may have been struck, but how many survived in flawless red condition without a single carbon spot? The number is dramatically smaller than initial production figures suggest. Globalization amplifies this further. Online auctions, international bidding platforms, and digital certification databases mean that a rare 1992 penny discovered in a small town can be viewed instantly by collectors across continents. A bidding war is no longer limited to a local coin show, it is global. When elite collectors compete, ego and prestige sometimes drive prices beyond rational calculation. Owning the finest known example of a rare transitional 1992 penny could become a status symbol within the numismatic world. Speculation about a $399 million valuation operates in this realm of singularity. It assumes a perfect storm scenario: one known example, flawless grade, multiple rare varieties combined, pristine red color, impeccable provenance, and intense competition among ultra-wealthy collectors.
Is such a sale documented? No. But is the theoretical framework understandable when examining how other singular collectibles have performed historically? Absolutely.
Markets respond to uniqueness and narrative power. A coin that embodies a once-in-a-generation combination of features can transcend ordinary pricing logic, even beyond monetary extremes. The deeper truth about the 1992 penny is that it represents accessibility within possibility.
Anyone can examine a penny.
Anyone can learn about close AM spacing, double dies, die cracks, and strike quality. The barrier to entry is knowledge, not capital. That democratization of treasure hunting is part of the coin's enduring appeal. Unlike ancient gold coins locked away in museums, the 1992 penny might still be hiding in circulation jars, forgotten drawers, or inherited collections. By the time we reach this stage in the exploration, the coin's weight of 2.5 grams feels symbolic.
Such a tiny mass.
Such a small disk of metal. And yet it carries history, artistry, mechanical complexity, market psychology, and human ambition within its circumference of just over 19 millimeters. The smooth edge may seem plain, but the details within that circular boundary are immense when viewed through magnification and knowledge. The 1992 penny's obverse, bearing Abraham Lincoln's steady profile, connects directly to more than a century of American coinage tradition.
The reverse memorial design, with its columns and faint-seated Lincoln statue visible between them under magnification, reflects precision engraving skill.
Even minor deviations in column clarity or inscription alignment can indicate die differences worth studying, and so, the story continues to evolve.
The 1992 1-cent coin stands at the crossroads of ordinary and extraordinary. Most examples remain common, worth face value. But hidden among them are varieties, errors, and pristine survivors that defy expectation. They remind us that rarity is not always about age, it is about survival, uniqueness, and discovery. In this ever-expanding narrative, the coin becomes more than currency. It becomes a lesson in attention to detail.
A reminder that microscopic differences can produce monumental consequences in value.
A testament to the fact that knowledge transforms perception. And as collectors continue searching rolls, studying die varieties, preserving red brilliance, and competing at auction, the legend of the 1992 penny grows stronger, fueled by possibility, precision, and the unending human fascination with finding treasure in the smallest of places. And now, as we reach the final chapter of this extraordinary journey into the world of the 1992 1-cent coin, everything comes together: the history, the design, the weight, the mint marks, the rare errors, the grading mysteries, the auction drama, the collector psychology, and the staggering theoretical valuation that has fueled imagination across the numismatic world. What began as a simple copper-plated zinc disc weighing just 2.5 grams has unfolded into a story of precision, imperfection, rarity, and human ambition. Think about the physical reality of the 1992 penny. It measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter. It is 1.52 millimeters thick. Its smooth edge feels ordinary between your fingers. Its metallic composition, primarily zinc with a thin copper plating, reflects the cost-saving adjustments that modern minting adopted in the 1980s. Nothing about its material suggests greatness. Nothing about its face value suggests fortune. And yet, history has proven again and again that value is not determined by size or metal content alone. It is determined by scarcity, condition, uniqueness, and demand. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's profile stands calm and resolute. His portrait has been a constant presence on the cent since 1909, symbolizing continuity in American coinage. The word liberty rests to his left, the date 1992 to his right, and above his head the motto "In God We Trust." Tiny details, the curve of the jawline, the strands of hair, the spacing of letters, can make enormous differences when examined under magnification. A faint doubling. A slightly thicker numeral. A minor shift in alignment. To most people, invisible. To a trained collector, transformative. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial rises in miniature architectural precision. Columns carefully engraved. The faint-seated Lincoln statue visible between them when viewed closely. United States of America arcs across the top. 1 cent anchors the bottom. E pluribus unum stretches above the memorial roofline.
And within that design lies one of the most important varieties of 1992, the close AM versus wide AM spacing in America. That tiny gap between two letters has become one of the defining diagnostic features that separates common examples from rare transitional varieties. A microscopic space becomes a gateway to thousands of dollars. The 1992 close AM variety, especially from the Philadelphia Mint, has become one of the most famous modern Lincoln cent discoveries. It was not supposed to appear in circulation coins that year. Yet a small number did. Transitional dies, production adjustments, or simple oversight allowed a handful to escape into circulation. That mistake, that tiny shift in spacing, created modern treasure. When found in circulated condition, they can command impressive prices. When found in uncirculated red condition, values rise dramatically. When found in near-perfect mint state, certified by a leading grading authority, they enter elite territory. And now imagine stacking rarity upon rarity. A 1992 close AM penny. With strong adverse doubling. With blazing original red luster untouched by oxidation. With razor-sharp strike detail revealing full memorial clarity and crisp Lincoln portrait definition. With zero contact marks, zero carbon spots, zero discoloration. Encapsulated in graded MS70RD, the highest grade possible. If such a coin exists in a single known example, it becomes a trophy, and this is where the conversation shifts from documented market prices into theoretical valuation. In reality, high-grade 1992 close AM pennies have sold for thousands and in some cases tens of thousands of dollars depending on condition and certification. But the hypothetical $399 million valuation represents something else entirely, the concept of ultimate uniqueness. In collectibles markets across the world, singular items command extraordinary sums. The rarest paintings, rare manuscripts, unique gemstones, and one-of-a-kind artifacts have sold for staggering prices because only one exists. If the numismatic world were to identify a 1992 penny that stands alone, finest known, combining multiple rare characteristics never before seen together, the ceiling becomes limited only by the wealth and competitive spirit of bidders. Is such a sale recorded today? No. But markets evolve. Demand evolves. Generations change. What seems impossible in one decade becomes reality in another. Coin collecting itself has shifted dramatically in the digital era. Online auctions create global competition. Population reports from grading services allow collectors to see exactly how many coins exist in top grades. When that population reads one of one, attention intensifies instantly. The deeper lesson of the 1992 penny story is not merely about money. It is about knowledge. It is about awareness. It is about understanding that even modern coins people overlook every day, contain layers of detail invisible at first glance. The minting process is not flawless. Human systems never are. Dies crack. Alignment shifts. Transitional designs slip through. And occasionally, perfection survives decades untouched. Collectors who pursue 1992 pennies often describe the experience as a treasure hunt. Searching through rolls from banks. Inspecting inherited jars of coins. Studying spacing between letters. Examining under magnification for doubling. Comparing reference images. Sending promising finds for professional grading. Waiting anxiously for results. That journey, that process of discovery, is part of the value itself. The coin also represents accessibility. Unlike ancient gold coins locked in vaults, 1992 pennies were produced in the billions. Anyone can search for them. Anyone can learn diagnostics. Anyone can potentially discover a rare variety. That democratic possibility fuels excitement. It keeps collectors engaged. It turns ordinary change into potential opportunity, and let's return one final time to the physical reality. 2.5 grams. 19 millimeters wide. Copper-plated zinc. Smooth edge. A design seen millions of times. Yet within that tiny circle lies artistry, history, mechanical complexity, and market psychology. It is a reminder that value is layered. The surface shows one thing. Knowledge reveals another. Most 1992 pennies will forever remain worth 1 cent. That is fact. But a microscopic percentage, those with close AM spacing, dramatic double dies, off-center strikes, pristine red preservation, or unique die states, have already proven they can command serious collector premiums. And in the realm of theoretical possibility, where uniqueness meets elite demand, the imagination stretches even further. The story of the 1992 1-cent coin teaches us something powerful: never underestimate the ordinary. Never assume common means worthless.
Never ignore small details.
Because sometimes, hidden within the smallest objects, lie the biggest stories. From minting presses in 1992 to collector showcases decades later, from pocket change to auction spotlight, from 1-cent face value to speculative multi-million-dollar conversations, this coin has traveled an extraordinary path, and somewhere, perhaps right now, another 1992 penny sits unnoticed, waiting for someone with patience, knowledge, and curiosity to look just a little closer.